You find yourself every day asking yourself, am I living in a dream? Am I missing something here? Am I not getting it? Is there something wrong with me? Why is it that I can't seem to grasp or deal with the fact that everything seems so incredibly corrupt? How is it? How is it that I have the deepest, darkest, most difficult time trying to understand and accept the level of corruption in the world? Why is it that I see it and nobody else seems to see it? We have this story locally of AOC's district. And it's to say third world, I think it does. I think it blasphemes third worldism. It's beyond that. Now, do we not know this? Do I not know this? Am I missing something? Why isn't the mayor doing something? How does this work? Why is nobody saying, hey, we're going to fix this up? Outside of Philadelphia, there's a place called Kensington, or Kenzo, as it's known affectionately. And it may still be, I don't know, but it was this open sore. It was the worst place of the most, sadly, vile people you have ever seen or met in your life. And it's something that is so mind-boggling, so incredible. And yet, here's the best part. The part that kills me the most, the part that absolutely blows me away is that nobody said anything. Nobody does anything. Nobody seems to fix it, to get people off the street, have a big power washer and say, get out. Go someplace. We don't have any duty to fix you. We don't have any duty to wean you off your drugs and take you in and, try to nurse you back to health. No, it doesn't work like that. Nobody cares about you. Nobody cares about nursing back to health our veterans. How does this go on? And you ask yourself, is it me? Am I missing something here? What is going on here? What do you not fix? How difficult is this to fix it? This is the easiest thing. The easiest. Clear these people out. It's that simple. I don't know how to tell people. Clear these people out. It's the most incredible thing I've ever seen in my life. Never seen anything like it. We have right now, this is equally as fascinating. We have right at this moment this missing princess that everyone loves, that everyone loves, everyone, right? And she's missing. She's missing. Let me just say this again. Wait. Before you're not getting this. You're not really understanding this. You don't understand it. You don't see this. You don't grasp it. She's missing. The future queen consort, I guess, of England is missing. And they're just kind of dancing around like, well, where is she? I wonder where she is. I don't know. A lot of conspiracy. And again, they jump into this, that the mental fatigue of conspiracy theories is over. You should be at the point of feeling enough of this nonsense. Enough. Mental fatigue. It's like racism. You know what I mean? It's ridiculous. What are you doing? What the hell's going on here? What are you talking? What is happening here? Is it me? Every time I point something, I'll say, wait a minute. I don't know. When for the longest time people said, I think I've got some questions about vaccines. What are you, nuts? Okay, all right. You've been quashed, squashed, squished, pushed down for so long, and you can't take it anymore. Am I right? You can't take it anymore. And you've had it. How about that Bobby Kennedy? What a fraud this guy is. What is he doing? He's laughing at you. Hooking up with that Google dude's ex. Please. Aaron Rodgers. Jesse Ventura. What are you doing to me? You've sold your soul. You squandered any legitimacy you had. Why? Why are you doing this? Why in the name of God? What is happening? This is what I go through every day. I say, why is this happening? I don't understand it. It doesn't make any sense to me. Why? And why don't people say it? Why don't people say it? Why don't people call it the way it is? I don't understand it. What's going on here? It's the most incredible. It's almost like somebody somewhere at Shadow Government Central is sitting back and saying, are these people stupid enough? Are they not going to, do they not understand that Kate is gone? And that nobody, not even Piers Morgan. And by the way, I got to tell you something right now. And this is the part that blows my mind. Would you please do me a favor? Call it what you want regarding Israel. Call it a ceasefire. Call it a cessation. Call it an interruption. I don't care what you call it. Stop the murder, the death, the carnage, the disaster, the inhumanity. Stop it. I don't care about, seriously, you want to talk about 1948? Go ahead. You want to have on Finkelstein and Destiny argue with Benny Morris about the history of whether Zionism actually provided any kind of recompense for land? Do you want to talk about Arafat? Would you like to talk about Zionism, anti-Semitism? Fine. Talk about it all you want. Have at it. I have no interest in the history, who did what. Stop this. I don't understand why people are saying, stop, hold it, stop this. Killing people. It's ridiculous. Stop it. It doesn't make any sense anymore. Doesn't make any sense. But that's not what we're doing. We're talking about everything but. Piers Morgan. Hello, I'm Piers Morgan, and I'm a sellout. You see, I'm like Bill Maher. I'm trying desperately to cling on to relevance. So what I do is I assume a position, I hang on to it, and I completely miss the point. And every time I have someone on my show, I ask them the question, do you believe that Hamas is a terrorist organization? Number one. Do you believe that Israel has the right to defend itself? Yes. Okay, that's it. Next. Wait a minute. Hold it. Stop. That's it. That's it. And we get into the most stupid discussions I've ever heard. I'm saying, excuse me, stop this. Let me give you an example. Vietnam. Okay. What did we say during Vietnam? Stop it. Stop. Bring our boys home. We don't want to talk about the history of Vietnam, the Japanese period, the French period, the Dien Bien Phu and Ho Chi Minh. Was it nationalism versus communism? What nobody cares about. Nobody want to talk about that. Today we would. Piers Morgan would want to talk about whether the domino effect. South Vietnam. No. We said no. Stop this. Stop. During civil rights, during the civil rights movement, we didn't talk about. Let's talk about the history of racism. Is this racism? Do you believe that? No. We just fixed it. But today, we have everybody talking about everything but. And all Joe Biden has to do, very simply, is pick up the phone and say, you got 5 minutes. Stop it. Stop it. Click. You don't get another penny. You don't get another weapon, another bullet, another nothing. You got that? You got it? Good. Thank you. Click. That's it. It's done. And keep talking. Talk all you want. Talk about this. Talk about it. Talk your ass off. Have your arguments, scream and yell, call each other names. It doesn't matter. Stop this. I don't care about. Swear to God. You want to argue about this stuff? Good luck. You want to talk about whether the Nakba versus this Zionism hurts? So go ahead. Stop this. Stop it. That's it. What would Jesus say? Stop it. Stop this. We're human beings. Stop killing each other. Stop. I know what I'm saying it sounds trite, doesn't it? It sounds like, oh, this guy doesn't understand what's going on. Oh, no. Because people would rather yell at each other. Oh, they'd rather yell at each other. They confuse yelling at each other with stopping it. I don't care whether you want to yell, knock yourself out. I don't care. Go ahead. Stop it. End this now. See, I don't fit into the world. I don't fit in. I don't understand this. And I'm not going to understand it. And you're not going to convince me one way or the other. It's the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life. It's just, I don't understand anything. Years ago, I got to tell you this story. Years ago, there was a woman. Her name was Jane Fonda. She's still alive. And Jane Fonda was a radical. She was a radical. Right on. I'm a radical. Angela Davis. I'm a radical. Okay. You're a radical, I see. In Hollywood. Okay. And you're a radical. Yeah, all right. Okay. It's just I've got friends of mine. Have you ever seen socialists in this country? Socialists, Marxists. You ever heard of these people? You ever seen that? They're here. Marxian. They're socialists. And you ever met them? Now, I'm not saying there's anything wrong to it. I'm not saying, I swear to God, even he does his communist, whatever the hell he's talking about. And I'm going to say, excuse me, are you a socialist? Yeah. Well, what are you doing here? What are you doing here? Why you want to complain? Yeah, go to a socialist country and go someplace where it makes sense. Doesn't it make sense? Doesn't it make sense to you? Have you heard these people? And by the way, most of the people on Fox News, they keep talking about Marxists and the Frankfurt School. They don't know how they don't talk about that, but they talk about Marxists and these Marxists, these socialists. They're not Marxists. They're not socialists. They're not communists. They're not any of that stuff. They're not any of that stuff. You know it. I know it. We all know it. We all know it. They're not that. I'm telling you. They're not. They're not. I know this is difficult. I know this kills. I know this destroys the narrative completely. But they're not Marxists. We don't have that here. AOC, Bernie Sanders, they're not Marxists. They're not socialists. They're not any of that stuff. They're welfare pimps. They're welfare giveaways. I mean, but they're not socialists. We get the names wrong. We get the names wrong. We argue. We argue. We love to argue, but nothing is done. We don't want to fix anything. We just want to argue about it. Oh, these streets. Fix it. Fix it. Stop rules that you can't have people injecting needles. Injecting, and you can't do that. Stop it. Stop it. Hello, yeah. Baby, yeah. Stop it. 5 minutes. That's it. It's over. Click. That's it. Keep arguing, though. Keep arguing. Have all your shows. Argue all you want. Stop it. Fix things. I don't understand it. I don't understand it. I want to get somebody in a room. I want to get Nancy Pelosi. I want to put her in a room with some kind of I don't know. I can't figure out how to do it, like a truth serum or something. I used to do this. I said something one time where, like, hook you up to a lie detector or something. You say, now let me ask you this, Nancy. Look at me. Okay, you're hooked up right now to something, and we've got this on the lower third, the chyron. We have the results. Do you believe that Joe Biden is competent to serve another term? Yes. No, you're not. No, you're not. Nancy, you're lying. Try it again. Do you believe Joe Biden is able to? Do you really believe? No. No. You're lying. You're lying. Yeah. Now, why are you lying, Nancy? And by the way, you can't get out of this room until you answer my question. Who's putting you up to this? Tell me why. Tell me why. Who runs the show here? Who is telling you to do this? Who is telling you to do this? This is my fantasy. Next, bring him in. Sit down. Mayorkas, sit down. Have a seat. You're hooked up to this machine and you can't get out of this room. Answer this question. Do you truly believe, do you honestly believe, do you believe that having no borders in this country actually is beneficial? Yes or no? No. You're telling the truth. So who's putting you up to this? Is this the replacement theory? Oh, there is a replacement theory. Oh, but they said there wasn't. Well, we don't call it that. Well, why do you want all these people in? We want all these people in to replace the people that are here right now. We want a permanent democratic state. It's the only reason we want. We don't care about people coming in this country. Now, what I'm wondering though, my only problem with this is I see a lot of people running around here, and I'm thinking, I don't think these are going to be Democratic voters. I think there might be something who says a group of people say, no, we really don't care what you do. We just want to destroy your country. We want to destroy the world. We want complete and total chaos. And it's a multi-level plan. That might be it. The replacement theory is kind of like, the reason why I think there's something to it is because people are saying, "Oh, it's obviously a racist because Elon Musk is a racist," and that means it's true. Okay, thank you. Because whenever you say somebody's a racist, that means what they're saying is true. So I want to know about that. So the thing is that why are you doing this? Tell me why you're doing this. Do you really believe this? Do you really honestly? Really, seriously? And I want to say, Tish James, do me a favor. Who you're prosecuting Donald Trump, and you're hooked up with this this lie detector. Who's making you do this? Do you really think, with all the problems that New York has, do you really think that Donald Trump? Now look at me, because we got you wired up on this thing now. We can tell when you're lying. Do you really think that Donald Trump poses like? Do you really think that he overvalued? I mean, seriously, nobody complained. None of the banks, none of the lending institutions. You're doing this because of who? Who put you up to this? Is it Soros? Is it the deep state? Tell me who these people are. Tell me, because you can't be serious. We know you're not serious. We know this. We know this. Alvin Bragg, what are you doing? What's going on with this? You've got the worst case of all. Nobody can even explain it. Fani Willis, who'd you meet at the White House, and who told you? Listen, we're going after Trump. Play your cards right, and we will always take care of you. We always take care of you. John Kennedy, Forbes man, those Forbes. John. Okay, fine. You get these people on and you make fun of them and you laugh. How many of these Biden nominees for judgeships have you ever stopped successfully? None. Jim Jordan, what have you accomplished? Nothing. You've had hearings. What has your hearings ever accomplished? Nothing. Why do you want to stop TikTok? You want to stop TikTok basically because Mark Zuckerberg is bought you off, and he wants TikTok. He wants it. That's why he wants it. You're doing so. Stop this. Stop this. Seriously, stop this. This is the most incredible thing in the world. And little things. Oprah, you're taking Ozempic, right? Yeah. Just tell the truth. I mean, that's probably the least of it. I hate lying. I want to go down the list. And Wills, yeah. Where's your wife? Where's Kate? She in a coma? She dead? What's going on here? Do you understand what I'm telling you? Do you understand? And what we'll do is we'll spend all day today watching these stupid Fox News and this circular story. Nobody ever answers a question. Nobody answers a question. Nobody answers a question. Nobody answers the question. Nobody ever. We never answer the question. We just go on this circular thing. And it's that thing that just drives me crazy. I want to do a show on TV, my own TV show. Ready for this? This is just for me. I don't know if anybody watch it. It's called Did We Land on the Moon? Okay, you who don't believe it, you're on the show. NASA, come here. You versus you. Let's have a trial. Let's go. Let's knock it out. Knock it out. Let's go. Let's go. Come on. Let's go. Let's have an actual debate. And you at home, you vote. Don't you want to do this? All the quote conspiracy theories. Let's do this. Let's do a post-COVID review, shall we? Oh no. Oh no. Let me ask you a question. You know, Ozempic and Wegovy, you know, everybody's taking Ozempic, right? To lose weight. Because God forbid you should diet. I want to diet. No, I want something fast. And of course, there's not going to be any, there's not going to be any side effects. Good. If I said Oprah, yeah, let me ask you a question. You're taking this. Okay, fine. All right. I know it's your juicing. Okay. All right. But let's assume you were taking it. What if I told you that Ozempic had a provision in it by statute that you could not sue them in case anything bad happened to you? Would you take it? Let me ask you again. Would you take a drug that promised you everything, but if something goes wrong with it, you can't sue the company? They have immunity by statute, by Congress. Would you take it? Would you buy a Tesla? It says, by the way, if the brakes don't work, can't sue Tesla. If it catches on fire, can't sue Tesla. We're on this new Boeing, this Airbus 953. If it crashes, you can't sue them. Would you do that? Would you? They have no liability, no moral hazard, no reason. Okay, would you do that? Yeah. But people take, Big Pharma wants you to take a vaccine. Now, I know it's moot, but nobody even talked about that. Nobody ever even understood what that even meant. Now, we're not going to relitigate COVID. I don't want to talk about that's done. All right. That thing is over. I hope we never have to go through that again. But do you understand how that was the most important question there is? And nobody asked any question about it. Nothing. Never asked any questions about them. Drunk driving is against the law, right? Yeah. How come there's parking lots at bars? Never got that one. Never understood that one. In fact, if you don't have a parking lot at a bar, you can't get a license for the bar. You got to have certain things, for certain codes. You got to have a parking lot. It's a bar. Where's the parking lot? But you're going to get drunk. Sorry. Okay. All right. Fair enough. Nobody asked any questions. Nobody. Because you're a conspiracy theorist and you are not. The best one ever. Right now, as we speak, every day, I haven't seen these. Lately, I really haven't seen a lot of obvious, but I think because the geoengineering is at night and stuff like that. But whenever you see the nice, billowy, perfect, beautiful clouds, beautiful cotton ball, beautiful, the blue skies, no spring. One day, it's gone, clears up. So I asked a question one time. I said, when will these maroons, these idiots, do you have a local news? Do you have a local weather person? Do you have a weather person? Don't you love these guys on TV? Who hires a weather person today? Who hires? What kind of a stupid show has weather? I've got 9,000 apps. Weather. Weather. And you got this guy, hey, I'm Dave. Oh, we got a beautiful day today out there today. Oh, it's gonna be. Oh, there's a brush and it's coming in, and the Doppler, and they're always wrong. But nobody says, "Hey, Dave, yeah, what the hell are they spraying? Huh? That stuff they're spraying. Oh, that's a conspiracy theory, Dave. Yeah, you got a computer handy there? Sure do. Google geoengineering. I'll wait. Not chemtrails, geoengineering. Google it. Go ahead. I'll wait. What do you see there, Dave? Read out the first four: Harvard, Cambridge, MIT, Bill Gates. Huh. The dimming. Huh. Why don't you talk about that, Dave? You talk about everything under the sun. You talk about jet streams. You talk about this. You talk about climate change. And here's the best part, Dave. You fat, stupid idiot. You anachronism. Living in the past. What are you, Willard Scott? You're a weatherman in the year 2024 on this obsolete local news format, which is the worst. It's dead. It's so stupid. It's concretized. It doesn't even it doesn't, how do I say this? Anyway, why don't you do that? I. What do you mean? What? Say it. What's the matter with you? This is just the most incredible thing I've ever seen. What is the matter with us as a species? What is the matter? What is the matter with us? I don't understand this. Let me go back to Israel. Stop killing people. Both sides. Hamas, knock it off. Okay? I don't even know if you're still doing it, but if you do, knock it off. Israel, knock it off. There. Any other questions? Great. Now you go ahead and you argue all day long. Watch Lex Friedman. Oh my God. Have Benny Morris and Finkelstein talk about the history of Theodore Herzl. Oh my God. You will want to. I don't know what you want to do. It's the most boring shit you've ever heard in your life. What are you talking about? That's like arguing about, like World War II and Hitler. Well, there was the Versailles. Versailles, there was the Wehrmacht, all these things. He's really Bavarian. We talk about nothing. It's the most ridiculous thing. If you went to a doctor and your doctor never prescribed anything for you, never fixed anything, never helped you, just talked about it. Well, heart disease is a problem today. You know that 700,000 people a year minimum die from heart disease. You're going to fix me? No, I'm just going to talk about it. You're going to talk about it? Yeah. What? How about this one? Hey, Judge McAfee. Yeah. What do you do about Fani? She lied to you. She lied. She committed perjury. What are you going to do? Tough guy? What are you going to do? She lied to you repeatedly. So did her boyfriend. They lied to you. They committed perjury. They committed obstruction of justice by getting that stupid roly-poly idiot, that Jadrul, Terrence Bradley, scared the hell out of him. They're after us, Terrence. You don't have to say anything. Huh? Okay? Cindy Lee Yeager heard her giving him a hard time. Well, what's going on here? What are you going to do about that? Hey, Georgia courts. Hey, Georgia Supreme Court. Stop this nonsense about, we have a special committee in the Senate. Stop this bullshit. Why don't you just do me a favor, pick up the phone, call the FBI, the GBI, and have her ass arrested because she just committed a series of federal and state crimes. Obstruction of justice, intimidating witnesses, tampering with witnesses. What is the matter with you? What is the matter? What are you people talking about? What are you doing? What is this? I don't understand what's going on. I got one for you. This is the best. I always have this thing. It's a thought experiment. You're meeting your grandmother show up. And somehow they say, what have I missed? Which is weird because I always thought they kind of knew. Didn't you think that dead people kind of knew? When you went to heaven, you kind of knew. You had this thing where you kind of knew, so to speak. You knew things. You could look down and see like, hey, what are you people doing down there? You people are crazy. Okay, you kind of knew this stuff. But here's the deal. If you met with grandpa or grandma, what would you tell them? Well, one thing you'd say, this is the one that still kills me. This is the one that I want to, I just, and you've heard it for so long, you don't even realize it. You don't even recognize it anymore. You don't even recognize it. You haven't even talked about it for so long because they just wore you out. They wore you out and wore you down. They told you this over such a long period of time. You just gave up. You gave up. And you gave up because you had to move on. You couldn't spend the rest of your life worrying about all this stuff. But here's what they did. They actually came to you and said, there's this guy, this big hulk of a man who's a swimmer, and he's going to be known as Leah, and he's going to be competing against women, and he's like 6'4", and he's a man. And by virtue of testosterone and a pair of balls that apparently he has not cut off, and a constant source of testosterone to bulk the Hulk, he is beating women in a women's swimming tournament. Do you hear what I'm saying? And you sat back and you said, ain't that something? Excuse me, stop this. Well, we don't know how to stop it. What do you mean you don't know how to stop it? Ryan says, does Fani have to resubmit the charge dealing with Trump's infamous phone call? The one the judge threw out? No. She can, resubmit. Yeah, she can refile. Because, Orion, the judge dismissed it without prejudice. Is it that fatal? Well, what happened was, one of the charges was that she enlisted or solicited, got a person, what am I trying to say? What the hell am I trying to say? A politician, an elected official, to violate their oath of office by doing what? They never even said, well, you violated the oath of office. To do what? Well, that thing you did. What thing? Well, with Trump. No, I don't. Fill me in. What is the thing I did and the oath of office? You see, Ryan, we have a thing in our country which is the most important. When you have a document, and I've had informations knocked out. Informations are indictments. Indictments are usually a lot more carefully edited. But in information, sometimes they just, these district attorney's offices, they just pump this stuff out. They just pump these things out. And you look at them and you say, what? Be surprised how many times each district attorney, the person who signs it swears, I personally took the testimony. No, you didn't. You just signed a bunch of these. Anyway, so you read this. You see, Ryan, if I said, all right, here's the charge. We're going to, if we plead guilty to this, it's got to be so specific, the charge, that if they were to try to hit us again with that charge, if they try to hit us again, we would lose. We would say, no, excuse me. They would say, excuse me, I already pleaded this. See, it says here, I was speeding on this date at this time. Make it simple. At this intersection, I already pleaded that. Okay. But what if you had a ticket that says, on this date, you were speeding and you plead guilty? Next day, you get another one. Say, hey, I pled guilty to that. No, you didn't. You pled guilty to another one. No, it was, you pled guilty to just speeding, right? Yeah. Well, here's another time of you speeding. There was no specificity. I don't know which one you pled to. So what they're charging Trump with this stuff is that you got this person to violate his office and to conspire to do something with, wait a minute. First of all, I don't even know how to prepare my defense. Because in notice pleading, you at least got to tell me what it was that I did. Second of all, if I were to plead guilty to this and you turn around and hit me again with this the next week, it's the identical charge. But it was so defective and so vague. I hope this makes sense. There's got to be specific. So you know what? Get rid of this. Refile it. It's kind of stupid in a way because you're saying, I don't know what this is. How about the arraignment? Or as one of my clients called it, an arrangement. I love that. An arrangement. Which, if you think about it, makes the most sense. So I hope I did not belabor or beleaguer or overkill that answer, but that's the answer. John Jelaine says DA uses conjured threats in exchange for monetary recompenses. Rico, if indeed you can show that it was done as a pattern, as a racketeering predicate act, not just one act, but it's got to be a little bit more. Racketeering is not just one person and It's got to be pretty systematic. Where, remember the lawyer Banks? Remember the other? I'm giving an example. There was a case. Where was this? It's a very good. By the way, your questions are excellent. Okay, excellent. Remember when what's his name? Oh, I got it right here. Oh yeah, Gabe Banks. Remember that? Gabe Banks, who represents the wife who works with the DA, called up your man, Terrence Bradley. Remember he called up Bradley and he says, "Hey, are you the leak? Huh? Yeah, I'm representing, Chris Campbell from Wade and Campbell. Yeah. Are you the leak? Remember when Nathan called up and said, hey, I want to remind you about the attorney-client privilege. Then you got Fani calling up. If you can show that that's part of some threat, some predicate act, theoretically, that might build the case for some form of maybe some RICO down the line. Ladies and gentlemen, good news. Deborah Crail is a good member, is a new member, rather. And a good member. She's a good member and a new member. Thank you, Deborah. Welcome along. Have some crumb cake. Bob S. says, Fani better think again. Oh, she is so, the best thing she could have done is to have this case just taken away from her. She's just, this thing has lost so much momentum. They're going to say, this is the best. They killed this. This case looks so bad. There's no oomph to it. This case is all about her. All about her. Look at the other Trump cases. Is the case all about Tish James? Nope. Because Letitia James, say what you want. And by the way, let me say something to you. Letitia James does some good stuff in New York as AG. Stuff to protect kids. Stuff. Believe it or not, she's not this incompetent lefty, whatever it is. No. She does some good stuff. So does, believe it or not, Blumenthal. So does Lindsey Graham. I want you to listen to me carefully. Remember something. Don't fall into this. Oh, I hate him. If somebody votes for you, if all of a sudden tomorrow the Democratic Party switches, go with them. I don't care. You don't owe any allegiance to these people. Do the right thing. Vote my way. I don't care who you are. If the Libertarian Party makes great, makes fine. Say Bobby Kennedy, that sellout. I can't believe this. People still, he doesn't even, what a joke. What a joke. If I didn't know better, I think somebody got to him and said, look, fall on your sword. Okay? We'll let you pretend. Because remember, when you run for the money and you get all that, that campaign account, you can keep it. Okay? You can keep it. Oh, yeah. You can keep it in your war chest, and run again. You're going to suspend your campaign, Bobby. You're going to suspend your campaign and you keep all that money. And you keep on. You get your travel and this and that. Plus, you're being bankrolled by this ex-Google lady. Oh, hey, Cheryl, be careful. You know how those Kennedys are. Raul Rodriguez says, will President Trump be acquitted? No. Acquitted of what? Acquitted of what? Of what? What? What are we talking? We've got a number of things here. Acquitted? Well, he hasn't been acquitted so far in the E.G. and Carroll case. That was a civil case. Because that was so stupid. He's got that Alina Habba, by the way. Didn't help at all. He hasn't won anything. This is the only guy who gets hit with a $5 million, I think it was $5 million for the sexual assault. And then through the defamation turns into 80-something million. What? Huh? So that's that one. Tish James, Judge Engoron. That law is valid. That law has been valid. It's on the books. He was a finder of fact. Go to appeal it. They're not going to throw it out. They might send it back to reconsider. Maybe you can question the evaluation. There's nothing that they did. I mean, I know people say, "Oh, it's nonsense." It's nonsense because you didn't know it was there. Okay, third case, this racketeering case. This one could be an acquittal. This one. because it is a mess. It is really complicated. You got to show patterns. You got to show predicate acts. And it's more than just putting together connect the dots types of crimes. You've got to be able to convince the jury. Are you sure you know what's going on here? Do you understand? Do you grasp what's happening here? Mr. and Mrs. Jury, do you get it? Do you understand here? Is this racketeering to you? No. Do you think that Trump is a Gambino crime family? No. Technically speaking, this could lie, but it stinks. You've taken the momentum out of this. That she sucks so much oxygen out of the room. Let me tell you something. One of the biggest things all prosecutors want is when everybody's behind you. Now, you can laugh all you want. You can say this is crazy, but there are people who want Trump burned. They love it. I mean, you tell them you overpricing your, it's stupid. But they don't like him here in New York. They don't like him. And how about the documents of Jack Smith? You know the picture of all those documents? The documents like 30, was it? I don't know, 30, 50, whatever. Those boxes are not all, illegally good. They're just the boxes. Those aren't, it's not like all of those documents are illegal. And let me also tell you what's going to happen. Don't think for a moment that the Her case, when he said, well, it's true what Biden did. It's true he violated the law just like Trump did, but he's, crazy. Now, what Trump should do is go out in front of everybody the next time he appears and say, so let me get this straight. If you have this, I can't say this, but if you really exaggerate the Sicilian flu, they're going to drop the cases. Is that what you can say? Hey, what about me? I don't remember. I made a mistake the other day where I called Obama. I mistook Obama's name for something. Doesn't that count? Huh? Ha ha ha. Doesn't that mean something? Trump should laugh about it. Trump should really push it and say, doesn't that mean something? Hey, I'm crazy too. You're going to let me off the hook? Is that what you're going to do? Does that make sense? Listen, do yourself a favor and understand something. Just because you like Trump, don't think that, well, the charges are stupid. No. Well, the charges may be stupid. They may be unfairly added. But I guarantee you, everybody by the age of 30 has committed a number of felonies in their life. Guaranteed. Absolutely. Nobody knew about it. Nobody bothers it. You have committed crimes and felonies. Oh yeah. Not, I don't think, penitentiary, long-term stuff, but felonies. It's one of those things where we have so many laws. So many laws, too many laws. And what is the worst thing that happens in the complete and total degradation of everything is this lunacy called whatever. Oh, by the way, here we go. Lori says, I'm hearing whispers about Princess Kate. Now, you said, I'm hearing whispers about Princess Kate? Because you have a question mark there. Oh, I've heard all kinds of whispers. Lori, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Lori, come on. Let me explain about this Princess Kate thing. If you called your police right now, right this minute, and said, listen, there's a lady down the street. Her car's in the driveway. I haven't seen her in a couple of days. Can you just go by and see if she's okay? I promise you. Police love to do that. Sure, we'll do that. There's no problem. Why? Because it's a welfare call. Looks good. We're not going to get shot up. It's not some domestic thing. Domestics are the worst. We'll go look. Make sure she's okay. We'll go back with you. Absolutely. Their parents, okay. Family, can you check on Uncle Dave? Most of the time, you don't really need this because you've got family and that sort of thing. Okay? But not Kate. and nobody's asking. Why don't you get Mad Dog Piers Morgan on it? He's not saying anything. And by the way, if you read the Daily Mail, remember the Daily Mail is the bought and sold official newspaper or news outlet of the royal family. Whatever. Oh, you could, but they are the best, especially when they tell you how great you are. Oh, Ivanka Trump is rocking it in her. Stop it. Ivanka, how much you pay for that? You're not rocking anything. Today they finally had, remember Nikki Hilton? You see that? Married to a Rothschild? Think about that one. Take that. Remember that one? Remember that duo? Aaron Fletcher says, judge said there was an odor of mendacity in this case, basically calling the prosecution liars. How can this case proceed? Easy. Thank you for this. Easy. Of course it can. Now, let me ask you a question. The question is this. If this were any other case, what would happen? Lori Cuck says, I got a hung jury because I'm pretty. It's scary. I got a hung jury. Okay. All right. Do you understand what that means? Okay. I think. Now, let me go back to this. If this were any other case, first and foremost, you would see, you know what the 65 Project is. 65 Project is a Republican organization, Democratic organization that just goes after lawyers who dared bring cases claiming that the election might have been kind of, I don't know, a little cheesy. Okay, you got it. Okay, good. Now that's what happened. That's what they're about. If there were a God, immediately all of the lawyers, the Republicans or otherwise, would have the 65 Project in Georgia. They would have Fani, Nathan, Terry, everybody, maybe even Gabe Banks, maybe others as well, investigated for potential witness tampering. Certainly in terms of Fani, obstruction of justice, perhaps investigated. And remember, bar complaints are different than criminal prosecutions. Bar complaints have a lower standard. You know, you have to, you violated more of the spirit, the appearance of impropriety. Yeah. How about this? How about going to a black church and basically saying, they're coming after me because I'm black and whatever? Did that rise to the level of perhaps, quote, tainting juries, as you say? I think so. Did she act improperly? I think so. Will anything be done? No. Why? Because Republicans are wussies. They don't do anything. They don't have that George Conway vicious. They don't have the Lincoln Group or whatever that. They don't have these psychopathic people, you know, who have this sense of brutal ruthlessness. They don't have that. The Republicans stink. They have no killer instinct. Nothing. They don't do anything. They have hearings. And that's the part that just absolutely kills me. Lori Cuck says, drug charge long ago. I had a great lawyer. Luck. Well, let me explain something to you, Lori, and I'm glad for you. Great lawyer is one thing. The facts are another. The facts. And when a case deteriorates, I had a case years ago. It was a robbery case. Armed robbery, and then it was strong arm robbery, but no firearm. And it involved a case of a mask, you know, like a face mask, and hair that was found in the mask, right? Inside. So, black defendant, court appointed case, black defendant. And they said, well, he was standing there, and the woman who was robbed said the guy had a mask. Lo and behold, your guy standing there, there's a mask, and inside the mask is his hair. Ta-da! Sounds pretty good to me. And the judge is saying, you want to plead this? I go, no, I'm not going to plead this. And they're looking at me like, you are out of your mind. They had an FBI analyst. Hair evidence, a mask, hair. The guy standing, went on and on and on and on. Okay. Well, what happened was this. It was interesting. To give you an idea, just let me give you as an example how things happen. When you find out about what happens. But they took this mask, the mask was inside out. Okay. They had my guy, we always call your client, my guy was at the back of the police car. And they were rubbing his hair like this. They were like checking his hair for weapons or I don't know what they were looking for. And they're doing this stuff to his hair with the mask right there. Hair. In court, took a piece of paper, said, do me a favor. Ask for a, in-court demonstration. Yes. Here's a piece of white paper. Do me a favor, sir. Just lean over this. Just rub your hair now. No. This guy, you talk about dry hair. This guy, it looked like, remember when you were a kid, they had those metal filings where you would have a magnet and you could like move, you could move the hair. That's what it looked like. Like it just, it looked like, I said, this is why you got hair inside. This is why you've got hair. This is it. Look. Then the FBI evidence, the FBI guy comes up. He says, oh, we got the hair. And did you analyze it? Yes. And was it? Yes. Now, let me ask you a question. I said, when you take a hair sample, don't you have to take it out? Don't you have to pull it out from the root to get the follicle, the follicular? That's all the DNA. Isn't that what you have? Yeah. So what do you have? You've got what? You've got basically just something you can't tell if it's a man, a woman, nothing. Right? In fact, when they do a hair sample, oh, that's the worst. Remember, hair fingerprint lineups, Schmerber against California, not Fifth Amendment stuff. You can get a court order and say, I want him to get fingerprints. I'm not going to get my fingerprints. They will grab your hand and they will, I want a blood sample. You're not going to take my blood sample. They will hold you down, suck the blood out of you like vampires. And if they tell you we need a hair sample, they will grab you. One time, I remember I didn't see this, but I heard they pulled this guy like his head up to the bars, and they're pulling hairs out, and it hurts. God forbid they want a pubic hair sample. Forget it. It's over with. Thanks for that Brazilian wax, because it's brutal. So anyway, make a long story short, we were acquitted. Like there was so much reasonable doubt. Because the case it's like, sounds good. They say, well, we found hair inside the mask. Well, how? Let's find out why. And that's a doubt. This is a doubt. This is a doubt. And the case just falls apart. So those are the facts. But you got to pursue them. That's why I love this Ashley Merchant. She's fantastic. Let the Brits worry about Kate. Killer bees are coming. Thank you, Bob. Remember when they had Africanized bee? Remember that? Remember how they had killer bees are coming? Yeah. And they're Africanized. I thought that's racist. What does an Africanized bee look like? Please. Let your imagination run with that. Lori Cuck says, hung jury mistrial. Well, hung jury mistrial is good. And most of the time, as you know, Lori, with hung juries, they're not refiled. They could be. I'll tell you a true story. You ready for this? Rule is, whenever you lose, poll the jury. If you're a defense lawyer, poll the jury. If you win, shut up and go home. Get out of there. Polling the jury is when you ask each person, is this your true verdict? Is this your verdict? It's got to be unanimous. Remember that? Acquittals have to be unanimous. Convictions have to be unanimous. Anything short of that. So if you win, get out. So one day we had a case. There was a guy in the prosecutor's office. He lost and he polled the jury. No, he didn't. Excuse me. He was in the phone book. This is when we had phone. Remember a phone book? You can actually look up a name. And his name was different enough where somebody called up. He says, he gets a phone call. Hello. He says, yes, is this man? Yes. I was a juror in the, yeah. Okay. He said, well, that's odd. He said, let me ask you a question. Wasn't the verdict supposed to be unanimous? Like if we found him not guilty, wasn't it supposed to be unanimous? Or if we convicted, rather. Is it supposed to be unanimous? He goes, yeah. I thought so. We thought that unless it was unanimous to acquit, it was okay, but we could convict. No, excuse me. Pardon me. It was really a hung jury, make a long story short. He was a prosecutor, it was a hung jury. We thought that you didn't have to be unanimous to be an acquittal. Well, it does. Well, it was a hung jury. Some wanted to convict, some didn't. The next day, he filed an emergency motion to impeach the verdict. This is interesting. They went before the judge. He says, made a mistake. The jury actually acquitted when, in fact, it should have been a hung jury because it was not unanimous. The judge says, did you poll the jury? No. Now, when can you impeach the verdict? If you found out they drew by lot, if there was you find out afterwards there was a hat, guilty, hey, that doesn't happen too often, but hung juries are, and that's all you want to do, hang them up. And that's why during the voir dire, you always want to say, Miss Cook, interesting name. Miss Cook, do you have the courage to stand by a verdict of not guilty if all of your fellow jurors are voting to convict and you are the only one? And by the way, when I'm talking to Lori Cook, I'm talking to everybody in the room. Do you have the courage? Yes, I do. Oh, come on. With all due respect, look, wouldn't you say to yourself, you know what? It's Friday. I got to get out of here. These people are going to hate me for this. Maybe they're right. Who am I? Look, there are 5 of them, depending on 6 or 12. But you know what? Maybe, you know what? I'm okay. All right. You sure about that? Absolutely. It's easier said than done. Would you be proud of that? Would you be proud? Let's say you're at a party. Somehow, I don't know if this is going to get out, but somebody said, wait a minute, did they ever find the name of that juror who held out? Yeah, well, I am. And you can really, depending upon your state and depending upon how liberal the voir dire rules are, you can really go crazy. You can have so much fun with the jury. And they absolutely, and that's the one you want. You want somebody who's dying to go out there and be the one who's courage. 12 Angry Men. You dying to be Henry Fonda. Sparky says, I believe Laurie's point was the defendant's appearance or attractiveness can make a big difference. Oh, yes. Yes. Oh, absolutely. I got one for you even better. I had a victim case. It was aggravated battery. And my victim was a big, scary looking guy. And the defendant was looks like a cherub. This guy he was stabbed. When the deputies showed up at the time, he's holding his intestines. They are pouring out. When I called the chief of the emergency room, he said, he's alive? That was good. He goes, yeah, he's alive. He's alive? I said, how much blood can you lose? About 6 liters, maybe. He goes, he had nothing. This guy was, and this puppy, and I'm convinced this victim was scary. So it's the opposite, Sparky, the opposite. People looked at him and said, that's kind of a scary guy. The hell with whether he's a scary guy. Look what they did to him. This guy had a knife. Yeah, but he was, it of course it does. Now, another thing too is, here's one for you. Let's say you're defending somebody, a woman who has had sex with a young man, her student. How do you make her look? Her natural instinct is going to say, I want to dress up. Let's say she's somebody who's young, people think her is attractive. How do you tell her to dress? Remember, you're defending her. She's charged with having sex with a minor. It's going to be kind of tough. How do you make her look? And what about this? You defend a priest. Okay, I know what you're thinking. Does the priest wear his collar? That's a big deal. What about a uniform? People always used to say, always, when we would have both as a prosecutor, but as a defense, we'd say, do a motion in limine or limine. If the police are going to testify, I don't want him wearing a uniform. Why? He says he's not on duty. Why is he going to wear a uniform? It's not fair. What? It's not fair. Remember when Oliver North testified before Congress? They said, why are you going to wear a uniform? What are you on duty? Wearing a Marine uniform? Appearances matter? Absolutely. Absolutely. I had a client years ago who had his family was in a like formal wear, you know, and he didn't know, but he would wear like tuxedos to court. And the judge said, would you tell him to stop wearing tuxedos? I said, Your Honor, when was the last time you ever asked anybody not to wear a tuxedo? I swear to God, you know, big thing, flowery. I said, you can't wear the tuxedo. You can't do it. I had one of the best stories ever. Listen to this. I had a client, great guy, who had his hair shot straight up like a chia pet. I mean, straight up. But like you can't believe. And he, very nice man. So, and he had teeth, gold. I mean, a lot of gold. Very nice man. Very nice. But just when you saw him, you said, it just was shocking. So he was in the gallery. So I walked up, you know, you sign in the morning. You know. So I went over to the court reporter. I said, look at me. And I knew him very well. I said, when you see my client today, you are going to laugh your ass off. You won't be able to control it. Look at me. You're not going to be able to control it. You will never have, and you'll know why. Remember that. You'll know why. You have never seen anything like this. Okay? Remember that. So you look at me like this. So I'm in the front of the bench, you know, in the bar where you, so I'm like this. I don't know what that means, 5 minutes, whatever. So they say, page 8, Mr. Wood. I go, well, here we go. And just then, as the people left, you could see him. He's a tall guy, but you could see the hair. You could see the hair moving up. You could see it over the tops of you see this. I don't know what it was. Remember those? I don't know what the hell this was. Remember those kids on TV? The guy had this like stovepipe. Anyway, this guy was doing the court reporters, the stenographer. They're incredible. He's looking at him like, and he starts to like cry. He said, good morning. So my guy said, morning, everybody. Morning. Nice guy. Morning. How? And when he looks at the court reporter, he goes, morning. He lost it. And he's there and he's doing the old, the crying. And people are like looking at him. And the judge he says, are you okay? So the turns around and goes, it looks like he's crying. He says, we can take a break. I'm like, no, it's okay. And so later on, the judge told me later, he says, did you have anything to do with that? And I said, yep. Yes, I thought so. It was one of those little moments where, now, had we gone to trial and he would have sat there, how would I say, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, Is his hair going to affect you in any way? I'm just asking you. Just you know, you don't want to alert them, but like Laurie says, how you look, yeah, sometimes. But going back to this, let's say if the jury looks at this young lady who's the teacher and they think that she's sexy, does that hurt her case? Do they say that's the seductress? That's what she did. Or if she's too frumpy, let me tell you something. If you were how do we say this? If you're charged with prostitution, you want to do like you want to go to central casting, something like from Little House on the Prairie with a hoop skirt and a bonnet. You want to do everything in your power. I represented a woman one time who was a nude dancer. I think her husband was a cop. I'm not sure. If you saw nicest, I swear to you, it was dismissed. But I thought if we go to trial on this one, if ever there was somebody who looked like somebody you'd want your son to marry, like the nicest American sweet, if you don't think that has anything to do with it, absolutely. If you represent a gangbanger, somebody who's wearing, how about somebody who wears sunglasses all the time? How many people with tattoos? What do you do when you represent somebody, a biker? Real scary. What do? Can you have him shave his beard? Can you do that? In court ID might be a problem. And you can't tell the jury, Mr. So-and-so, you shaved your beard, didn't you? Objection, relevance. Yeah, what does that have to do with anything? What are you intimating that he's trying to sneak? He's there. He showed up. So Laurie's point is very, very well taken. How do you do if President Trump's sitting there? What would you do? Trump sitting there. Trump. What do you tell him to do? Don't smirk. Don't do that smirk thing. By the way, I need 500 likes. Sorry. Where's Mr. Nightingale? Is he here? Where's Lizzie Solak? She here? Den mother? I gotta get our people watching these numbers. Imagine Trump. What would you tell Trump? Don't smirk. Don't go like this. How do you do it? Can he do this? I would sit there and we would do mock jury. I would just have him, I'd have a camera and I would sit there and say, I want you to know what you are going to, these people are going to be very curious about you. You are the first president they've ever met or seen. They may think they hate you, but when you walk in, it's a different story. You may think you hate Bill Clinton. You may think you hate Ronald Reagan or Richard Nixon, but when they're there, this could be the most famous person you've ever seen. Laurie says, my point is, what can Trump do? That's my point exactly. That's exactly right. What can Trump do? And Paul Rodriguez, thank you. Trump's got to sit here and say he's got to be so respectful. He can't smirk. Don't look scared. Don't look at the jury and intimidate them, because you can sit there and do that. That's really weird. You got to tell your guy, don't look at him. Don't sit there and look at him like, scaring or this. I'm going to lock this guy up so he doesn't. So there's got to be a balance. There's also something about testifying too. When you're testifying, the best thing in the world is when you actually turn to the jury and you talk to them, because you're acknowledging, I'm answering your question. These people are facilitating my questions. These are people asking me to speak on behalf, but they are facilitating my messaging to you, the jury. So I want you to know this. That's very effective. In the old days, depending upon the judge, depending upon who you were in front of, sometimes you can move the lectern over and you can actually block, if you could, the jury from seeing where you could get in the middle of them, that was, most people knew what you were doing, but there have been times when people got away with that. Where when it's your witness, you slide it over so that they get the chance to see your, your beautiful witness or whatever. But if it's the others, you slide it out of the way, or you obscure the vision. Raul Rodriguez says, don't wear a red tie. Interesting. And also don't wear one of those ties that are like 3 feet below your belt. Trump can't take the stand. Oh, he can take the stand. Oh, absolutely. In a civil case, he's better, or else he defaults. But in the case of a criminal case, he has a right to remain silent. He has the right to remain silent. And I think he would be absolutely wonderful. You see, there's something about him when he's really good. You understand this? When he's really good. This is the part, this is the, how do we say this? This is something which is, you've got it very, very right here. You've got it very, very right. You're on the right path. What's his defense? What does he say? What does he say that's not arrogant? What does he say that doesn't tick people off? When he walked into that judge, that Engeron case, there was no jury. This is basically an equity case. This is just like a bench trial. He pissed everybody off. The clerk, the assistant, Tish James, the judge. He had they called the judge a psycho. He didn't, but I mean, it was the most stupid thing. I don't understand. I'll never understand it. Never understand it. E. Jean Carroll, he should have made E. Jean Carroll sound like she's just some crazy woman. Like he feels sorry for her. I hope she can one day find peace. Like, what? How can you get upset? What you're saying is, I think she's a lunatic. She's making this up, but you can't say that. So what you do is you speak kind of peripherally, elliptically, as to wishing her peace and wishing her, resolution and closure or something, without saying, I think she's a nut. Because this is the one who went on TV and says, and you get a car, and remember this? Does this sound like a rape victim to you? Now, I don't want to ask or suggest what sexual victims sound like. I don't know. I don't know if there's anything wrong with it. I'm not an expert. But did that sound right to you? Did that sound right to you? Lori says, I'm off to church to pray for all of us. Well, Lori, that's our signal. Thank you, Lori. Please pray for us. You don't have to go to church to pray for us. So, Lori, bless your heart. Thank you so much. Raul Rodriguez, thank you. Sparky, thank you as well. Bob S. This sounds like a 12-step meeting, doesn't it? Aaron M. Fletcher. Aaron, thank you so much. Lori, I said. Deborah Crail, by the way, our brand new member. And John Jelaine. Thank you, John. And Ryan. He goes by the name Ryan. Ryan, thank you as well. All right, dear friends, don't forget, please, a couple of things here. Subscribe. You must subscribe because sometimes your subscriptions are reversed. Also, you have been wonderful in following Mrs. L's YouTube channel at Lynn's Warriors. Lynn's Warriors. Do me a favor. Wonderful, critical, important, crucial, vital information to stop human trafficking, child predation. She's got so much to say. She's got a tough week. They're going to Albany. She and her other warriors are going to Albany, New York, to fight for children, to keep this up. And the best thing you can do to support her is, of course, go to lynswarriors.org, but also just follow her. Find out what she is doing. Lynn's Warriors on YouTube. And on X or Twitter, Lynn's Warriors, LYNNS_Warriors. Okay? Do that. And I appreciate it, and so does she. All right, dear friends, have a great and a glorious day. We'll see you later on this eve. Our evening schedules are back. You were marvelous and wonderful. Have a beautiful and a glorious day. And don't forget, the monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue you. Da-da.